The class rivalry started in 1898. They started as giant brawls between both classes. The first one occurred while the freshmen were leaving a class meeting. The sophomores began to dunk the freshmen into the class of 1833 fountain. The freshmen then decided to make a V formation in order to plow through the sophomores. Despite the concern of parents, the brawls were allowed to continue as a yearly event. As class sizes grew, the fights became more violent as classes tried to prove they were superior. In the year of 1902, class rushes were banned. The battles were taken off school grounds. To settle this matter, the students merely moved to an off-campus location, and instead of having everyone brawl, they picked their best men and pitted them against each other. The school faculty found out about these fights and suspended 17 students. These suspensions caused the students to go on strike until the State Board of Agriculture reviewed the suspensions. At this point, the director of physical culture stepped in. He decided to allow these class rushes under more regulated terms. He decided the rushes should be more competitive and less warlike. Victory would be earned through points won by various contests. However, no one could prevent the displaying of insulting posters. If any freshman was caught attempting to put up their own posters, they would be chased. The tension between classes often carried into the following year. Sophomores often tried disrupting the annual J-Hop. In 1904, they let a pig run loose at the dance. In 1906, they shorted out the electrical wires. The dance would have been canceled had it not been for the backup gasoline lamps. In 1909, they greased the streetcar rails leading up to campus. One student created a contraption and placed it under the building that could produce enough hydrogen sulfide gas to kill everyone in the inside if it were triggered. Luckily, it was found beforehand and the students involved were suspended. In the fall of 1908, the sophomores, class of 1911, hosted the first annual barbecue. This was a chance for the freshmen and sophomores to put aside differences. Everyone gathered on the lawn in front of Wells Hall. The sophomore president traditionally would hand down an oversized carving knife to the freshman president. There was ox sandwiches and apple cider for all to enjoy. The freshmen would throw their beanies into the fire while the seniors would throw in their books. The J-Hop was not interrupted for the class of 1911, so the barbecue was a good idea. The class rushes began to die down in the 1960s. The last one was in the late 1960s. The events changed drastically over the course of time. It started out with events such as tug-of-war, flag rushes, and football. The events in the 60s were things such as tree sits, ball pushes, and pig races. One of the events included was the canvas pull. Students had to get as many hands on a teeny piece of canvas as possible while trying to keep the opposing class's hands off from it. This event was eliminated in the year 1915 because the large class sizes made the game unsafe, and it also made it difficult for spectators to see the event. Another event was tug-of-war. Sophomores versus freshmen, tug-of-war was played across the Red Cedar River. The loser would be pulled into the river. The freshmen were usually able to win because they had larger class, so they had more choices of big, heavy men. Sophomores often kidnapped the bigger freshman men the night before the event so they could win. The flag rush and football rush were also played. The flag rush was much like capture the flag. Flags were placed on trees, and they could be placed as high as you could get it. People would stand around the trees guarding their flag. The winner was whoever collected all of the other team's flag first. The football rush was like football, played with multiple balls. The goal was to get the football across the field while people from the opposing class defended it. In the later years, pig races and tree sitting were introduced. In a pig race, students from both freshman and sophomore classes had to race while holding a pig. Whoever made it to the finish line first was deemed winner. If the pig was dropped, the participating students would have to chase it down, catch it, and try to beat the opposing class to the finish line. During tree sits, the sophomore and freshman class president would sit in a tree. Whoever could last the longest would be titled winner.